absolute shock, as all of you know, in your own lives, and the fact that we had 3 children under the age of 12, and how in the world were we going to tell our kids that their dad had cancer. Our fear and shock turned to hope when the Leukemia Lymphoma Society reached out to us and told us about their resources, their ongoing research, and most importantly for us at that time was their First Connection volunteer program, which matched up someone who'd been through a similar course of treatment that we were getting ready to embark on, was doing well and willing to meet us. And we were blessed that that person was Jeff Peppett, our 2011 Man of the Year, who's here with us this evening. He met us the week he went back to work after his transplant, and it was just weeks into our diagnosis. Emmett and him hit it off as if they'd known each other for 20 years. And it was the hope that we needed that we were going to follow in Jeff's footsteps. So then big decisions had to be made, as so many of you have had to make for your loved one, and that was whether or not we would have a traditional stem cell transplant or go through a clinical trial that was in a phase 2 at the time. And Emmett immediately said that he would go through the trial, and he didn't know anything about stem cell transplant, so I was reluctant to let him go through a trial without documentation and survival statistics and all that. And he looked at me and said, if someone didn't go through a trial before me, there would be no transplant at all to be had. He knew then what all of you here know, and that research is the key, the trials are the key, and the money from this campaign is pivotal to those type of trials and research. So we searched for a donor. Hundreds of people came out to match Emmett. None of us did. We found our donor in Germany. He has the transplant. 16 days later, he's home, and that's really when the true battle began of keeping him healthy, as so many of you have experienced. And he could be at a state soccer tournament watching one of our children play, and the next day he's being rushed back to Jewish in an ambulance. So for 2 years we kept that battle going, and if he couldn't speak, he would mouth the words fight. If he could still write, he would tell me not to give up. And after 6 months on a ventilator and his kidney shutting down on Father's Day, I had to make the decision to let him go on June 20th of 2011, 2 years to almost the day of our diagnosis. And I remember very vividly telling him to just go to heaven and just wait for me there. And that's what he did. So it was a few short months after that that Jeff came to me and said, how about taking part in this campaign and keeping Emmett's memory alive and showing your children that just as their dad didn't give up, I'm not going to give up, and that's why I'm here today. So it's interesting that it wasn't during our battle, and it wasn't when I lost him. It was when I took part in this campaign, as all of you are, that you're going to hear amazing stories of survivorship, of battles, and those of loss that have a ripple effect on the family and continue to have a ripple effect on the family when we lose these precious people. So an example, so many of the former candidates are here this evening, but as a perfect example, when I told all of you at the workshop to carry those cards around everywhere that you go, share with everyone what you're doing, that you are raising money for cancer research, and you will hear the stories, and each of you, just like Logan's mother had told me, because when I was on the fence about running, Logan was diagnosed. Logan was on my basketball team that I had coached when he was 5, and his mother said, you are now Logan's voice. Each of you are now Caitlin and Logan's voice. And there are so many of us out here who have experienced such loss, but so many of us may not possess the qualities that we see in each of you. They may not have the personality or the drive or the amazing support each of you have brought with you this evening, but you become their voice. And when you tell them what you're doing, they will donate to you, and they'll tell their networks. They will share with their networks what each of you are doing, and you will see donations come in from names you will never recognize because they're strangers whose lives you have touched. And Emmett never got mad. I did. I was mad then. I'm mad today. I'll be mad forever that my children were robbed of their father. Forever will I be mad. But Emmett didn't. And I used to say to him as he would lay there that he couldn't get up and he was on a ventilator, and I would say, cancer picked the wrong wife, cancer picked the wrong husband, and cancer picked the wrong family to do this too. And I'd like each of you, each of the candidates, to think about that in their own life, of who has been taken, what you have been through in your own life, the struggles that each of you have been through, and really think about the fact that cancer really did pick the wrong families. And if you have an event and you don't get the turnout you expected, or you send out some media blast and you don't get the response back that you thought, or that company promised to match you dollar for dollar and they won't return your call, I want you to call them back until you get them live. I want you to send out another blast. I want you to have another event, and I want each of you to prove to cancer it did pick the wrong people, and LLS has the right men and women on our side, and we're not. For those of you here who know me and know me well, know I'm as competitive as they come, but the people sitting next to you, the candidates next to you, they're not your competition. You're collectively battling cancer. That's what each of you are doing. So keep that in mind. I didn't have a corporate sponsor. I didn't have some big checks rolling in. I didn't have any of that. But I had a little girl dumping out her piggy bank to give me money. I've had stories of the children giving their tooth fairy money. We just want you to do the best job you possibly can, and that is about raising awareness. No matter if it's $5 or $5,000, just get out there and go get them. Go get them. That's all I can tell you. So thank you very much.